Hello everyone, and in this video we will go through one of the most important equation in personal finance, which is called the fundamental money equation, or at least is what I call it. In this fundamental money equation, we have the excess savings, so that amount of money that will remain in your bank account after all the expenses have been taken care of. That is the key output of the equation. In order to increase this excess savings, there are two main inputs: the income and the expenses. There are no other inputs that can change your monthly excess savings. So our choices are quite limited. We either increase our income or decrease our expenses. Even better if we can do both. In terms of income, there are two different kind of income. One is the active income and one is the passive income. In terms of the active income, we can consider the first subcategory as the work, service, and performance income. Here's all the income that you receive as an employee, as a performer, employee salary, performer revenues, or, for example, lawyer fees. The other kind of active income is a little bit more nuanced, and is that work that is dedicated to increase and create your assets, that are the intellectual kind of asset, the digital assets, or the physical assets, like a book or an object that then after you can sell. So here is asset creation. This is the amount of work you put into creating these kind of assets. Now, in terms of passive income, there are two main points. One is from financial assets. Here is all the income that you receive via dividends, interests, etc. Then there are the intellectual assets that include royalties. Then we have the physical assets. So we can put it, and it can be here number of objects sold. Also, if we consider the house as a physical asset instead of a financial asset, can be the rent that is paid to you. One cool thing is that when you employ your time in work, performance, service, you increase your actual income so that it goes and flows towards your financial assets. So you can invest in your financial assets, or, for example, in physical assets that then give rent. And if you spend time on your asset creation side, you can develop intellectual assets that pay you royalties, or on physical assets that pay you in terms of objects sold. Checking now on the expense side, we have three main variables that we can reduce. The first one is the discretionary spending, the second is the non-discretionary spending, and the third one is the unexpected spending. In terms of discretionary spending, there are various spendings, various expenses that materialize. Some of them are, for example, subscriptions, can be restaurants, trips, etc. So this one can be the first one we can tackle, because are not necessary for our survival, but make our life more pleasant. In terms of non-discretionary spending, here we have the expenses that are related to utilities, rent, debt repayment, transportation, etc. These are all those expenses that are necessary to survive on a monthly basis. And so these ones can be cut, but it's a little bit more complicated to do. Usually they need some negotiation to be done properly, and they are longer to cut. But if we are able to reduce these ones, usually tend to be a good windfall for the monthly expenses. In terms of unexpected expenses, we have, for example, here accidents, house, I call it issues, health issues, etc. So these are all those expenses that we cannot really forecast, but we can protect ourselves against these kind of expenses by using insurance or having a cash account that can cover these kind of expenses when they occur. Okay? So now you have the fundamental money equation. We will go through the various strategies on how to tackle the various inputs, meaning the income, active and passive, the expenses, discretionary, non-discretionary, and unexpected, so that we can boost our excess savings by a good margin. And by doing so, we will be able to also boost the passive income that our portfolio will generate. But that's all for today's, guys, and we can chat in the next video. Cheers.